Diversity, equity, and inclusion and storytelling. Welcome to Thank God It's a Story Saturday, a weekly video series where I share stories with you that you can use to make your messages stick. About 2 years ago, if you had asked me, is storytelling got a role to play in diversity, equity, and inclusion in organizations, I would have said to you, I am not sure. But in the last 2 years, a lot of my work has been in promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion in large organizations. Now, one of the things that I'm learning as I'm doing this work more and more is this instilling this faith in the minority group that you don't have to know everything about the majority group. And just because you don't know everything about the majority group does not mean that you are any less of. And obviously this learning for me comes from a personal experience, and I wanted to share that personal experience with you. So in the year 2005, I went to work in Australia. My husband is brought up in Australia, so we went back to Australia and I was working there. So when I first went there, it was very hard for me to understand people, even though they spoke English. I was finding it very hard to understand the accent, the colloquial sort of jokes and stuff like that. So I used to usually keep quiet. But one day, my husband invited his best friend and his wife over to our place for dinner. And usually when they would come over, I'd kind of just try and find an excuse to play with the kids or, cook and not really engage with them because most of the time I didn't really understand what they were talking. But there was this one day that they came over and we were sitting on the dining table and having our dinner. And my husband's best friend said that, my brother joined the Hare Krishna group. Now, as soon as I heard that, I thought, okay, Hare Krishna group, I know something about this. So for those of you who don't know, Hare Krishna is like an Indian religious cult group. So for the first time, I know something about what they're talking, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to contribute to this conversation. So the next thing he said that my brother joined the Hare Krishna group and he met a girl there who rooted him. And instantly in my head, I thought, okay, so this guy has joined the Hare Krishna group because he's looking for meaning in life and seeking purpose in life. And then he finds this girl who roots him. In my country, roots means provide grounding, just like the tree has roots, bring focus in, bring meaning in. That's what we think in India rooting someone means. So I just turned around and said that, oh, isn't that fabulous that he managed to find someone who rooted him? And there was an instant laughter on the dining table. I wasn't quite sure why they were laughing. Well, at that point, I didn't know what the word rooted actually means for Australians. I actually can't tell you what that means, so I'm just going to show you. So let's have a look. Now, after my husband realized what I had said, he apologized on my behalf, and I felt really, really embarrassed. The effect of that incident was that I more distanced myself from contributing to conversations. Now, today when I look back, I have got enough confidence and experience to turn around and say, it doesn't matter that I don't know. Well, as much as rooted in your country means something else, it means something else in my country, and that's okay. So I think today I can do that, but at that time I wasn't able to do that. So the point I'm making is that it's not necessary for us to know everything about someone else's culture or someone else's country or someone else's way of being. We just have to be curious to want to find out, but not knowing is not a signal that you are any less of. So we often talk about what should we do for the minority group. This is one thing that I think the minority group can do for themselves, is to not feel like they have to know everything about the majority group.